It's been a while, Purple Rain, but guess what? We're back. Good news. Let's get into it. Purple Rain Podcast. Welcome back to another installment, another episode, 143 to be exact, of
Yeah,
the Purple Rain Podcast, a Justice Hill episode. Justice freaking Hill. I'll throw it back. I'll throw you Haruki Nakamura. That's what I'll do to you. I'll throw it back.
don't do that
Yeah,
to him.
I may have to. But, I mean, listen, before we get into it, bye week, we can
Yeah.
relax this weekend. Coming off of, we're on a 3-game winning streak. I think
Yes.
we're sitting pretty right now at the bye week. But thank you to everybody who has came out and to support us. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. All right, you can follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sutton Duff. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, we said it before, we'll say it again. Thanksgiving is what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks from today, I believe.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. And you know what that means. You might have a secret Santa, might be picking somebody. Listen, if you get a guy,
Yeah.
Manscaped. All right. And not only Manscaped, but you'll get 20% off and free shipping when you use code PRP.
Yeah. I mean, you heard it there first, man. Go on manscaped.com. All your orders will get 20% off plus the free shipping. You can't beat that, man. Use our code PRP. We'd appreciate you guys. Holiday season is right around the corner. It's basically here, like my guy Alex said. So make sure you guys go ahead and hop on that. And just thank you again for coming out to this episode 143, the Justice Hill episode, like you said, of the Purple Rain podcast. Already got about 30 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys already know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's go ahead and get this out the way early. We're going to do our 5-second moment of silence for you guys to like the video. So, ready? Like the video? Set? Go. And we are back. Hopefully, you guys have liked the video by now. We'd appreciate it if you did. If you didn't, what are you doing? Come on, guys.
Yeah, go ahead and do it real quick.
Just go ahead and like that video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. We'd appreciate that. We got a lot to talk about tonight, Alex. We really do. We might as well just go ahead and get into it right now. There is Thursday night football tonight. It's not the greatest of games, I will say that.
No.
But it is football nonetheless. So we're gonna get out of here before, of course, that game comes on. But thank you guys so much for joining the stream tonight. We want to bring everybody who's on screen, who's in the live chat right now. Let me see. Daryl Turner's in the house as we live. I'm sick as fuck right now, but definitely happy to see this live. Not to mention the Ravens balling before the bye. It's time to relax now and get healthier. Yes, Daryl, get healthier. Get healthier.
Yeah, you do your last line. You do that. You relax and you get healthier, please.
Yeah, for sure.
ASAP.
But thank you for coming through, bro. Black Daniels in the chat says peace in the chat. What's going on, Black Daniels? Hope you're doing well, brother. Yolanda's in the house. Says good evening, Rain Gang. How you doing, Yolanda? Thank you for coming through tonight. See, the Don is in the house. It's Alex and Sutton. What's up, guys? My PRP family. What's going on, Don? Thank you for coming through.
How are you?
Spencer says I'm still smoking that Saints pack, man. What's up, fellas? Listen, we didn't talk about the Saints game, so we're gonna recap that in just a few minutes. So make sure you stick around.
He put a little bit of bourbon in that. Is what he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Brent is in the chat. What's going on, Brent? We in here. What's going on, Brent? We appreciate you.
It's lovely.
Yes. King 95, my guy,
King.
in the house. He's here. He's here in full effect.
I
Thank
love
you
when
for coming
King's in
through,
the
bro.
chat.
Yes, absolutely. Let me see. I saw my guy. Where's he at? I saw Mod K Dog in here. I don't see his
He was
comment
like
in the
one of
chat
the
right
first
now.
people to comment. He was
yeah.
talking about Manscaped, talking about like in the video, and of course he said the bye week Friday Eve edition. Gave you a little twist to the Friday Eve, but the bye week. So
yeah.
Oh man, just smooth sailing.
Hopefully we see him in here in a second. I'm sure he'll be trickling in here with the comments soon. Let me see. We got Ravens online, Gatekeepers. What's going on? Appreciate you for coming through. Black Dale says the like train. Let's get the like train going.
Yes.
You already know what it is, man. Like the video. Helps us out so much. Helps us out with our reach to, make the Rain Gang family grow even bigger. You guys got to like the video, man. That's the only way it's going to happen. We have Lisa Ann in the building. Says, hey, Sutton Def and Alex. Baker Mayfield won't know what hit him next Sunday. Already looking ahead. I like
Lisa,
it.
if it is Baker Mayfield, it could be Sam Darnold. It could be PJ
PJ
Walker.
Walker, yeah.
We don't know. We don't
We
know.
don't. We don't. Jabari Cruz Ellis in the building says, "What's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on,
What's
Jabari?
going on?
DLC is in the house as
What's
well.
going on,
Thank you
DLC?
for coming through. Zach George in the house says, "What's good, guys?
Yo.
Zach, my guy, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for coming through. Chike is in the house. Says, feel better, Daryl. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Like the
Well,
video for Daryl,
Daryl.
guys. Daryl's
Yeah,
feeling sick.
yeah,
Part of the Rain Gang is not feeling well. He's under the weather. Make sure you guys like the video for him.
yeah.
We'd
Yep.
appreciate it, and get well soon, Daryl, for sure. But thank you for coming through, Chike. We appreciate you. Abraham Diallo says, "What's up, boys? What's going on,
What's
bro?
going on?
Appreciate you." Quoney in the house as
What's going
well.
on, Gwony?
Kimberly is in the house. Says, "Hey, everyone. It's been a
Howdy.
while." Hey, Kimberly. Appreciate you for coming through. Sports Gaming YouTube is in the house as well. Says, "Racks on racks, smoking on that pink pack."
Oh, Justin Tucker. How can you hate him?
How can you? How can you? Thea Pennell the fourth says, "Is Bateman a bust?" Oh, ooh.
We've talked
Uh,
about this a couple of times before.
we did touch on that, I think, in our last episode. Maybe we'll get back around and talk about Bateman
Yeah,
in this episode. Who knows? Who knows? K-Dog, there he is. There he is. Says, "Love me, my Purple Rain family." We love you, K-Dog.
indeed,
Appreciate you for coming
indeed.
through. Raven Ron is in the house as well. That's my guy. What up, PRP? Number one in the North. I
And
know that's right.
yes, yes.
I know that's right, man. Let's see. Sports Gaming YouTube is in the house. Darius, the official. Oh
Darius,
my goodness, he's here.
Darius.
He's
What's
here.
going on?
Thank
What
you for
is
coming
going
through,
on?
Darius. A long
The
time no
official.
see. Yeah.
The.
Says love you, Rain Gang. All right. Let's get into what we came here to talk about,
Yes.
Alex. First, we got to start it off because we didn't go live on Monday. Saints game, that Monday night
Yes.
football game
Yes.
against the Saints. Alex, I want to get your takeaways from it. We're about 3-4 days removed from it now. We've had time to all kind of chew on it, sit on it. You can
Okay.
watch the All 22 that's out right now. You can watch the replays, the highlights, whatever you want
Well,
to do. Alex, I want to know, what are your biggest takeaways from that Monday night football game against the Saints?
all right. So number one, I'll show you how I was watching the game for most of it on Monday. I was sitting back on the couch, reclined like this, which means it's a good game. Which means you
Right.
aren't sitting forward. You're not, you're not stressed. I was just chilling, sitting back, and that already is a good sign for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the first couple of drives were slow. We really no Mark Andrews, no Gus. I was told Lamar Jackson couldn't win without Mark Andrews. When you take away his best target, is he really that good of a quarterback? I was told he couldn't win without him.
Right. So
You
much for
tell
that,
me.
huh?
Right. Another one of those little fake little narratives gone. Check it off. Goodbye. But I was sitting back and I wasn't expecting a lot from the offense. Because we were missing skill players, but between the offensive line, and that defense, specifically Justin Houston, oh my goodness gracious,
Mm,
like fine wine,
yeah.
aging like it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was just some of just the main ones, but it was very nice to kind of just see how far I think we've grown, because I think in prior years we would have struggled a lot. Maybe like last year or even 2020. I mean, the Saints to me aren't a bad team by any means, but we just kept getting constant pressure on Andy Dalton, and Mike McDonald. Listen, you shut down Alvin Kamara amazingly. He scored I think he put up like 40 some fantasy points against like the Raiders. You shut him down on Monday. Kudos and props to you on that one. So that's a couple of my takeaways. I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, I mean, those are some excellent takeaways, man. For me, I would say, and Yolanda kind of alludes to it here. She says, "Bravo to the defense." And then Kimberly Harmon also alludes to it, says, "Justin Houston is a beast." And then lastly, Mod K-Dog, the
Ugh.
Purple Rain Pioneer himself, says, "Facts. Roquan
Oh.
makes us dirty on defense." That was one of my biggest takeaways from this game. The addition of Roquan Smith to this defense gives it all the juice that it needs to be a top 3
Mm,
defense. Top 2 and not
mm,
2 by the time it's all said and done. If you
mm.
look at, I mean, honestly, and I don't mean to like kind of say it like this, and this is the only reason why our defense might be top 3, but look at our remaining schedule. Look at the quarterbacks that we have to play. Look at the just the teams overall that we have to play for the remaining of the season. This defense can very well go out there and finish top 3. You know, I'm just saying. In sacks and turnovers, they're already third in turnovers. So I mean, that was my biggest takeaway. Roquan Smith, those tackles that he had on Alvin Kamara early on in the game really set the tone, and it really made me feel like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for from our linebacking core. A couple years ago, Alex, when we drafted Patrick Queen, we drafted Malik Harrison as well. I thought that Malik Harrison and Patrick Queen were going to be like the Thunder and Lightning duo in the linebacking core. That never really manifested. But now that we have Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, I'm starting to see some of that dynamic duo in those two guys, the Thunder and the Lightning.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith obviously being the Thunder, that hard hitter, that thumper, that just tackler. Like you said, you saw what he did to Alvin Kamara on that first drive the Saints had. Stood him up, took him
Good
down,
luck.
stopped him in his tracks. Exactly. And you got Patrick Queen playing with his hair on fire, running all over the field, that sort of thing, doing what he does. I think Pro Football Focus, and I know we take everything they say with a grain of salt, but their top 5 players ranked in that Saints game for the Ravens, Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith were both in those top five greatest
Hmm.
players. So,
Hmm.
and that's out of offense, defense, special teams, everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
my biggest takeaway from that game is our linebacking core is getting to where it needs to be for us to be contenders. But that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. And just seeing Roquan out there, the way that Alvin Kamara was running full head and Roquan met him, and Alvin just went backwards,
Yeah.
like just what he brought, and even it was a play where they send Alvin Kamara out. I think it was a pass, a short pass. Roquan tracked it down the whole way, and even Patrick Queen, he was tracking him out multiple times throughout the night, which I don't think you don't see it. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet. I think the one pass breakup Queen did have, but there's a couple of times where Queen was about to go blitz, saw Kamara going out the backfield, picked him up, just stuff like that. It's making his life so much easier. Like getting a guy like Roquan Smith makes the whole defense's life that much easier. So
Yeah.
just I'm still over the moon about the trade. I love seeing him in purple and black. Uh, I just can't say enough. And one more thing too, Kyle Hamilton played 75% of snaps. I am a huge Kyle Hamilton fan.
Mm,
That is kind of telling me something that for when Marcus Williams gets back, oh my goodness gracious, we'll see more Hamilton playing as well because
yeah.
Gino took over. But I mean, seeing Hamilton get more snaps definitely made me happy, and I think he's been progressing each every week more and more. And I don't think you hear that many people talk about it, but because everybody thinks about that Dolphins game where he did get beat, fair. But since then, he's been steadily improving, and kudos to Kyle Hamilton as well, number 14
Yeah.
overall pick.
Definitely one of the more exciting rookies on this team. Let's see what the Rain Gang is saying about this
Go for it.
Monday Night Football matchup. Sports Gaming YouTube says Alvin was talking smack on Roquan before the game. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was the yawn tweet when we traded for him.
Oh yeah, that's
He
right.
said like, okay,
Hmm.
all right.
Yeah, that Roquan Smith trade it didn't move Alvin Kamara until they actually played that Monday night, and Roquan moved
Yeah,
him for sure, or stopped him in his
yes,
tracks
indeed.
rather, like you said, knocked him backwards. But all right, let me see. 410 Byron says Roquan said this defense has no weaknesses. Just wait until Marcus Williams is back, but we're definitely number one after that statement. Yeah, I mean, I think Roquan did come out in an interview today, or I think it was yesterday, maybe, and said that he doesn't see any weaknesses on this Ravens defense, which is insane to think. Like halfway through the season, we weren't thinking the same thing last year around this time. Our defense
Week
was
two, we
very
weren't
like
thinking it.
exactly. Our defense was very like boom or bust, and a lot of time it was bust. But now we're seeing that the defense is contending. Like it's from start to finish. They're putting together 4 quarters of football, which is very good to see. That pass rush, man, too. That's another big takeaway from this past game. This pass rush is actually showing up and showing out, man. Justin Houston is doing his thing. Tyus Bowser, I was happy to see him back. Got a free run of the quarterback on the first drive of the game. I love
Don't
that. I love that.
don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
let it. And you got a second round pick. He was projected a first round pick before he got I word. David Ojabo coming back. Listen, if I can talk about the guys coming back to this team, I will give myself goosebumps. I mean, I might as well do it. We have a 6'7" tight end, I believe. That's how big Charlie Kolar is coming back. Lamar loves his big targets. All right. You have a Marcus Williams coming back. He only had what, 4 picks in 3 games. He's coming
Mm,
back. Nothing crazy, like you said. Ojabo's going to be there. Come on now. The reinforcements are on the way. J.K. Dobbins coming back. Gus Edwards coming back. We can go on and on. On
yeah.
and freaking on.
Yeah, I mean, you make a very interesting point when you talk about Charlie Kolar. I mean, 6'7" tight end. That literally just screams Lamar's favorite target, honestly. Because I talked about it before on this podcast. On average, the taller the receiver, the taller the pass catcher, the more Lamar tends to trust and target those players. So a 6'7" tight end. Mark Andrews is what, like 6'4", 6'5", I want to say. So Kalar being 6'7", I can see a lot of like back of the end zone touchdowns, that sort of thing. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to see what they put together when he gets back. You see, Sports Gaming YouTube has a question now. It says, what do we do with Nick Boyle?
That's a great question. I thought that we were going to move on from him earlier in the year. I'm a big Nick Boyle guy. Unfortunately, he fell down the pecking order. I guess because Josh Oliver can block, he can run routes. But this is his last year here. There's no way about it. Uh, I don't know if we cut him mid-year. I really don't. I don't think we do, but it makes sense, to get rid of him. But I think he'll stay here until the end of the year, and then it will be sayonara, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunate as it is. Let me see. Brandon Tillman says they're going to sign Lamar Jackson to a contract after this season, but they're going to sign Smith and Patrick Queens too. Contract situations, yeah.
Contract everywhere. Contract situation. I mean, I would love all three of that. It would make my day. So, can't get mad at that.
Yeah, same. So let's go ahead and move on to our first super chat donation of the night, coming
Okay.
from Chike. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Chike. We
Thank you,
appreciate you
Cheeky.
making it rain here. Chike is making it rain on episode 143 of the Purple Rain podcast, the first to make it rain on this episode.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, brother. Says, do we move on from Chuck Clark after this season?
I think we do. I really think we do. I'm not a guy who hates Chuck Clark. I think he's obviously an intelligent ball player. Had that hiccup on Monday, if you want to call that a hiccup. But wears the green dot, knows the defense well. A true professional, I'll give him that. But I do think we do move on from him. I think it was kind of written in the stars. Now with Kyle Hamilton getting more snaps, I'm gonna be looking at Chuck Clark snaps now and see if his start going down. That's something I think you got to keep your eye on because maybe they're trying to ease Hamilton in, but I do think we move on from him after this season.
What do you think about this whole green dot situation? Because if we do move away from Chuck Clark, then who's going to put on the green dot?
Yeah, that's a great question. I saw Jeff Sarebrett like a couple weeks ago. He said that he asked the coach about the green dot, and that coach laughed in his face. He said that like fans make the green dot out to be more than it actually is, which I guess is a fair assessment. But if you re-sign this guy who just traded a second and a fifth for an all-pro, I think he gets it.
I really don't. I don't. I don't see how having the green dot is not paramount. Like, it's super important. Like, if it's not important to have the green dot, that's more indicative on a lack of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Just to me, because if you're not communicating clear information to your best defensive players, so he can communicate that information to the rest of his teammates on defense, then what are you doing? Like, what's kind of the point?
It took me by surprise, that comment as well. I mean, that was him saying he has to coach. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the defense isn't as intricate as we think, but I think it is. You would think you would need somebody that can like relay the information because if they get it wrong, like you said, that can be bust the coverage 7
Right.
points or 6 points. So
Yeah.
it's weird. It's very weird.
It is for sure. Let me see what else you guys are talking about in here in the live chat. If you're not watching this live, thank you guys so much for coming through. You're part of the hashtag replay gang. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments down below in the comment section. We would love to get back to those later. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying here in the chat. Chike says, wait till we get David Ajabo, people. I'm telling you.
Listen, all right, Chike, I'm right there behind you. I just want to talk about something that me and this guy talked about, and I'll keep saying it over the summer multiple times. It's sacks. We did not get enough of them last year at all. Now, I think we're top 10, top 7, maybe top 5. Could be wrong there. Getting the guy, David Ojabo, who not only, knows the defensive coordinator, but can just athletic freak. I'll call it what it is. He's a freak. Oh my goodness gracious. I am so excited to get him back. Like this our edge rush. I mean, Bowser, Ojabo, JPP, Houston, Owe. Oh. And then we saw Calais was getting interior pressure as well.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, love that. Love that. The defensive line is playing really well. The offensive line is playing really well. The trenches has just been amazing these
Brent
past
Urban.
couple of weeks, man.
Brent
Brent
Frick,
Urban.
let me give some Brent Urban love real quick.
Go ahead, do
Got
it,
his
do it.
big Canadian mitts up there. Freaking yeah. Deflected the ball. Justin Houston said, "Give me that." On my career game at 36 years old. Oh man, I love that.
I love this team. I love this
Yeah.
defense, man. This defense is really starting to show that they are going to be a problem going down the stretch of the season, man, and into the playoffs as well. And we're going to get into like what specific players will help us in the playoffs in the second half of the season once we get into our mid-season awards, which is right around the corner. But first, we kind of have to we got to take stock. We got to take
Yes.
stock
Yes.
of the Ravens at the bye week, kind of like the state of the Ravens sort of thing. Where are we at? Where are we going? We're 6-3.
Okay.
We're 6-3 right now. I think before the season, when we made our picks for the schedule, we were somewhere around like 6-3 at the bye.
Yeah.
6-3,
Yeah.
7-2,
Seven
something
two.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are, 6-3, and coming up our matchups against the we have the Panthers next, and then after that isn't the Jaguars now?
Yes, I believe. I have my handy dandy schedule next to me.
Yes.
Yes, it is the Jags after that. It
Yeah.
is. It
Matter of fact,
is.
just go through the rest of our opponents.
I'd be honored. Okay. Panthers at
Mm,
home. Jacksonville away. Broncos country at home.
mm.
Steelers away. Browns away. Falcons at home. Steelers at home. Bengals away. Uh, I think all those games are winnable.
Yeah.
But with division games, I mean, they're always a toss up, and a certain team's getting a certain person back. So I hope we deal with him accordingly. But there's no reason I think to only lose one or two out of them. Maybe you could easily win out. I'm not putting that out the equation either.
Yeah, I mean, and oh my goodness, can you imagine the Ravens went out for the rest of the
Uh,
season?
Listen,
I mean, yeah,
after that first round bye, I want to go in the playoffs on all cylinders. Don't rest anybody. No, we've been through this before. All right, we've been through it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would like to have a first round bye. If we could snag number one in the AFC first round bye, home playoff game. I don't think that we let that bite us in the ass twice. Obviously the last time we had a first round bye. Uh,
We're not going to talk about it. Nope, we know what
I'm
happened.
knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood. I just knocked on wood, so don't even worry about it. But I don't know, man. I just think that with a first round bye, home field advantage in the playoffs, we could be really good. But taking stock of the Ravens right now, I can only really talk about which way this team is trending. And as we just got done talking about, the defense is actually trending in the right direction. The offense is still kind of like in this middle of the pack sort of place right now. They're still bottom third in the league in passing, which is not good. The Ravens wide receivers account for about 790 yards. That's less than Tyreek Hill as an individual. That's not good. Um, Something needs to be done about the passing game. I will say that. Defense is looking great. I love the way that they're trending. The offense, if the running game is not firing on all cylinders, which in the playoffs and in these high stakes games later in the season, teams start to shut down the run. They start to key in on the run because they know that's what we want to do, and they want to make Lamar Jackson and this offense pass the football all around the field. So, like I said, again, I like the way the defense is looking, but right now the offense does have a lot of room for improvement. I like what I see from Isaiah Likely. I want to see more, play schemed up to him for him to get the ball. Same thing with Devin Duvernay. He's been quiet the last couple of weeks. And Lamar. Lamar's been good, not great. He's been good, not great. I need him to be great in the second half of the season and going into the playoffs as well. So that's my kind of the state of the Ravens address right now. Alex, what is yours? And then throw in the chat as well. Where do you think the Ravens
Okay.
are right now? How confident do you feel in this team?
Uh, I feel good. I think starting off, I think week two, just that collapse was hell. It was. I mean, that was a pretty bad moment. But since then, we did lose to the Bills, which that really didn't hurt me as much as the Dolphins game did. Then the Giants game kind of was another kick down. Like we were going through rough patches, but recently I think we've turned it on. The
Mm-hmm.
Bengals game I think was a real big step. I'm just looking at the schedule now. The Browns game, we are what we are 2-0 in the division, so that right there to me is huge. I think that's more wins than we had last year altogether. I'm just looking at it in AFC North. Our first goal is to win the North, so we're already on a good path there. But like you said, with the offense, I need to see more. And we were
Yeah.
talking about the receivers, and we talked about how one receiver was making his Ravens debut, and what happened to him within like a quarter, hamstring.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, and we were both agreeing that that really wasn't the signing we should have made. I don't know why we did it. He had one catch for 15 yards. I don't care if he was running routes well. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. The defense, though, I mean, lights out, love it. And then one more thing, the offensive line, love it. Like I'm right there with you. Lamar has played good, not great, and I think he'll only get better, which is kind of scary for the rest of the league.
Yeah.
But I do need to see this passing game, dare I say, graduate. I don't really think it can, unfortunately, but that's my word I'm gonna go with, graduate, because Lamar Jackson's better than throwing for 100 and some yards a game. I know he was efficient and we didn't win, but I just want to see it get better and better because in the playoffs, you can have a two off drives and that can lose you the game. I want us to be firing from the first
Yeah.
drive to the last drive because the first drive it was I think 3 and out, or they had a penalty and then we still went 3 and out. So I just need this offense to get clicking. That's the only thing holding us back. Special teams amazing per usual. Jordan Stout, lovely punts.
Yes.
But yeah, offense, let's go. Let's fly.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you make a really good point when you say that you can lose playoff games with two off drives, and right now our offense has a lot of off drives where either we're missing on a big explosive play on second or third down and we end up having to punt, that sort of thing. We cannot have that in the playoffs down the stretch. We cannot have that. And I think I tweeted during the game on Monday night. I said Lamar's got to start hitting some of these throws, man. Some of these big like explosive throws type plays, like he's got to start hitting some of them because I mean he missed. I think he missed Isaiah Likely on what would have
Mm-hmm.
been a really big gain if not a touchdown. And then I think he might have missed another deep shot to somebody else. Had a really nice deep shot where he dropped the ball. You guys all know he scrambled out of the pocket, dropped the ball, picked it up, threw it downfield to
Yes.
Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson just didn't happen to catch it. It was great defense by the defender. But that was an amazing throw by Lamar. Just amazing play or effort in general. But like you said, just certain plays, like these explosive plays that we're missing on, like I think I alluded to on another episode of the show, those deep passes to tight ends like Mark Andrews over the top, where like if he
Yep.
puts that in the breadbasket, that's a touchdown and likely a backbreaker for the other team. We need to start hitting on those type of plays to really kind of, because that's a knockout punch, right? That's what teams like the Chiefs, that's what teams like the Bills are able to do. They're able to hit you with that knockout punch and really apply the pressure and not keep it so close all the way through. So I think that's definitely something that needs to be fixed on this offense. Just the execution on these big plays, these explosive plays downfield, because everything shouldn't be so nip and tuck. Everything cannot
Yep.
be nip and tuck. But yeah,
Yeah. I see the chat they're bringing up. It was, I guess, Demarcus Robinson that pass as well. Is that what you're talking about?
I think it was Demarcus Robinson. Yeah,
Okay. So that and the likely, I agree. The likely one, that's 25, 30 yards. We saw him in college. He could outrun some players. So that very well could have been a touchdown. We don't know. But
yeah,
just give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say 25, 30 yards. And yeah, that right there, who knows what that could have been. Marcus Robinson, who knows what that could have been. But in the playoffs, you'll see the Chiefs, you'll see them just haul a freaking bomb up there. They come down with a touchdown, and it really just is a tone setter. It's like
yeah.
if you want to beat us, you have to keep up with us, And
Right.
with this Ravens offense, we're like, no, 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 no. We're gonna get the lead. We're gonna stop you. Then you got to try to get us off the field, and they would rather. We have long drives, but sometimes we don't get 7. And in the playoffs, we take 3 a lot in the regular season, but that's not going to win you games in the playoffs.
Yeah,
That definitely scares me. That's my biggest concern. But outside of that, I mean, with the resources we put in the defense, I would expect them to hold teams more. But we'll see. We'll have to see. And it depends who we play. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this team. I'm happy with where we're at. 6-3 feels good. Nice little winning streak feels even better.
yeah. No, you're right. And just to kind of build off of your point right there, like we cannot be going back and forth with these teams, man. We just
No,
can't. Ain't no
no.
back and forth, man. There should not be no back and forth. We should be stepping on their necks, putting the pedal to the metal at all times.
Yep.
There's no reason for what happened with Chuck Clark and Marcus Peters to happen. You know,
That
no reason.
that kind of that look that had that left a bad taste in my mouth, real
Yeah,
bad. because that I thought that would have been a perfect win. And I mean, just perfect, everything going well. And that right there was like, really?
Yeah,
That's what teams like the Raiders do. 2-6, back. That's what teams like the Texans do. That's not Ravens football at all.
that's not finishing football either.
No,
You know,
no.
because I mean, what happens if something like that, even remotely close to something like that, happens in a playoff game, a closer playoff game? And that's what ends up swinging the pendulum, and we end up losing that game. You know, it's
Yep,
better that it happened earlier in the season when we had a comfortable lead
yep,
than when it's a closer and things just kind of go to shit off of a play like that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but it's definitely unexcusable for sure.
Very, very, very.
All right, so let's go ahead and let me see who we have in the chat here. Gerald is in the chat. What's going on, G Money? Appreciate you for
G Money.
coming through. Says, "What up, Rain Gang? How about that Ravens defense?" Yes, sir. You already know what it is. Tony Houston in the house as well. Says defense will be scary at full strength. NFL, watch out. Yeah,
Watch
yeah,
out.
I agree. I agree. I see Cam is in the building. Cam the Baptist is in here. It says
What's going
PRP.
on?
You guys have a great stream as always. Hashtag replay gang. Thank you, Cam.
Much
We
love,
appreciate you
Cam.
for
We'll
coming
see you
through.
in the
Much love.
comments. I know we will.
We will. We will. Cam is my favorite from the comment section from the replay game because he always timestamps different like
Yes.
topics and
So you,
whatnot.
so you know what he's talking about. It makes it so much easier
Yeah,
to respond back and get the context on it. Love that.
I
Shout
love
out
it.
to you,
I
Cam.
love it. Yeah. Simply as 10 just saying here, doubling down. Like that video. Like the video, guys.
Don,
Let's see the
Don said it.
Don as well.
Caress it. Caress
Go ahead.
it.
Just caress it, just caress it for sure.
I love
Um,
that.
all right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and move on into our next topic,
Oh my God,
uh,
yes.
which is our mid-season awards, our mid-season superlatives. You guys can see it in the title of the video. I've been waiting for this. I'm very excited for this. Halfway through the season, we get to kind of break down who we think, the best players are, most improved, underrated, all this good stuff.
Yeah.
I think is really fun. Let's go ahead and get right into it, Alex, shall we?
Yeah, and if you don't know what superlatives are, it's kind of like in the yearbook for your school. It's like,
Yeah,
funniest, best dressed. But we're doing that
right.
but with football. So just if you don't know, but I figure most of you guys know.
Exactly. And we got about 80 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming
Howdy.
out to this episode. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and leave your comments and your reactions to our superlatives down below in the live chat and in the comment section if you're part of the hashtag replay game. All right.
And if we miss one, we will be taking some viewer superlatives as well. So if you have a
Yes,
good
we
one,
will. Yeah,
you can drop that one.
absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off with this one, Alex. So the MVP so far for the Ravens
Okay.
this season, who do you got?
I feel like when I look at MVP, I look at, okay, if you take him off the team, how worse will they do? And I think that has to be Lamar Jackson.
Mm,
I feel like it's just like an obvious answer. And if we want to talk up, exclude him, I'll be happy to talk about that too. But just what Lamar brings to this team, I don't want to sit there and be that Ravens fan that gushes over him, but I am. Just watching him every week, he's one of one. Just that play where the ball was fumbled, he gets the ball, rolls out to his right, throws up a prayer, and that
yeah,
was honestly one of the prettiest passes I've seen him ever throw, and just drops it. And if that's a bigger receiver, that's a catch to me. And just he's won us games, and unfortunately with the Giants game we saw, he did kind of lose us that game. But like I said, if you take him away from this team, I don't want to imagine what the team looks like, because we saw last year what happened. It was bad. So I'm going with Lamar for my MVP.
and you know what? I agree with you there. I think this is like a category where you just can't overthink it. Just don't
Yeah.
overthink it, man. Like Lamar Jackson, he is the most valuable player on this team pretty much at all times. What he's able to do closing games. Look at the game against the Cincinnati Bengals a couple weeks ago in prime time. He closed that game. He's the one who made the game winning play.
Yep.
Because otherwise, I mean, that game was looking very tight. We only won by 2, you know. So he's still like our closer. He's still like our finisher. When he's not finishing games, we're losing games.
Yep.
Nobody else is doing it for us. So, but one thing you did say that that pass to Deshaun Jackson that was incomplete. You said that was one of his more pretty passes of his career. I thought that was interesting because while I was watching that, I kind of thought to myself, like, I see a lot of times in instances where Lamar Jackson rolls out of the pocket and he throws a dead accurate throw. I think, is it crazy to say that Lamar Jackson is more accurate rolling outside the pocket or as he is in the pocket? Or what do you think about that? I think he's more accurate outside of the pocket.
It seems like it. I mean, he rolls out and like It's just his mechanics too. I don't know if you saw the clip but it's funny. He was in the pocket. He was just standing there flat footed and laid a missile. All right, and Peyton Manning was like, "That is like Peyton Manning, guys. By the way, like this isn't some geek on the street. This is Peyton freaking Manning." Was
Yeah,
like, I don't know how he did that. He's like, kids watching, do not do that because only Lamar can make that play. And I find that
yeah.
funny that like he's in the pocket making this throw, but they say that he can't throw. Funny, but yeah, when he gets out the pocket, like he throws some dimes. He's just special. I don't know how like you're better like on the run and rolling out than you are just in the pocket pay. That could be a very
Yeah.
fair assessment.
But yeah, I think the reason being is because he is kind of mechanically incorrect when he throws the ball from the pocket. I think I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this the other day. Like when he throws the ball from inside the pocket, he uses less of his base, so his legs, to generate power. He uses his arms to generate power and accuracy. When
Mm-hmm.
most other quarterbacks, they use their legs and their base for power and their upper body for the touch and the accuracy on the football. But he uses, his upper body for both of those things. So that's why sometimes I feel like he can be a little bit off the mark when he's going from inside the pocket. But if you notice outside the pocket, since he's rolling out and constantly like running on those legs, he's forced to use his legs for power and kind of his hips, things like that, and he can use his arms more so for touch. That's why I think you see a lot of more accurate balls coming from Lamar Jackson, or deadly accurate footballs coming from Lamar Jackson when he is outside of the pocket. But just is who he is, and he's able to make some really nice throws without his base anyway. Like you said, I mean that one that Peyton Manning
Week
talked about.
week one to Bateman too. I mean that
That one,
was
yeah,
in the freaking bread basket.
yeah. Let me see. Let me see what you guys are saying in here. So Raven Ron agreeing. Lamar, LJ, no question, says Tony. Lisa says LJ and Jordan Stout. Okay. I like that. I like that. And again, like the Don says, please caress that like button. We'd appreciate it.
Caress it nicely. Talk to it nice.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get into our second superlative, which is going to be most improved / surprising player. So, Alex, what do you got for this one?
There's so many people, and I see Chike. I saw you say Justin Houston. He's one of my guys for this. Surprising. I I think it's fair to say if you would have told any of us that Justin Houston would have 8.5 sacks the whole season, all right, mind you, we're here at the bye week. I would be like, okay, 8.5. He had a really good season, a
Yeah,
full 17 games. If you would have said 8.5 at the bye week, plus he missed a couple of games, I would have called you crazy. Absolutely crazy.
that's true,
Yeah.
though. Yeah,
Like what he's like, he's playing like it's 2015 when he had like 20 some sacks that season. This is insanity. I don't know how he's
yeah.
doing it. He needs to be looked at by somebody just that studies bodies because what he's doing is insane. He's one of my guys. I'll we can go bounce back and forth. But Justin Houston right now is one of them for me. I have more, so I'll let you do one as well.
Yeah, I mean, most improved for me, I would probably have to say my guy, Devin Duvernay, man. And Optimistic O's fan
Yeah.
says it here. Dude, he's really proved this year that he can be that guy anywhere. On special teams, he can be that guy in the slot, he can be that guy out of the backfield. Like you can just put him and plug him in so many different places and he can perform and be productive. So that's why I'm gonna say Duvernay, because we've never seen that up until this point in his career.
Yep.
We've seen like little flashes of it here and there, but to do it as consistently as he's done it, and I understand he's been kind of quiet in the last couple of weeks. But I think that's the fault of the Ravens coaching staff, not Devin Duvernay's, because they're not, scheming up ways to get him the ball, which I think that they should. But
Yeah.
Duvernay, he's been playing really well. I want to see the Ravens, Greg Roman and the Ravens, get him more involved because whenever he touches the ball, positive things happen. You know, I mean,
Yep.
we've seen him score touchdowns at running out of the backfield. We've seen him score touchdowns lining up at receiver. We've seen him score touchdowns at punt returner, kick returner. I mean, what more could you ask from the
We
guy?
saw him score a touchdown with 0.1 yards of separation.
What more can you ask? What more can you ask?
Yeah, and the chat. All right, so I'll throw off the chat because they're saying a bunch of people who I wanted to mention.
Hmm.
First and foremost, Big Dog K. I got to give a big shout to Ben Powers. He says Ben Powers is the most improved. I 1,000,000% agree with you. I
Hmm.
think that was a huge question was the left guard, and we talked about what was it? Ben Cleveland, is it Tyree Phillips, or is it Ben Powers? Ben Powers said, "You're gonna give me that job, and you're not gonna get it from me at all."
Yeah.
He said, "I'm gonna play the best football right now in my career, and I'm gonna do a great job at it." Got to give it to him. I see Matabike as well. I mean, what he's doing. Kind of we've expected this as Ravens fans, I think, but he's showing the whole world right now how good of a player he is.
Yeah, he is. And we knew about Justin Madubuike. Like we knew that he was going to be really good. So it's good to see that he's balling out this year. All right, Alex, let's go ahead and move on to our third superlative. Why don't
Okay.
we? So this one's a little bit, it's not as positive as the other ones, but we got to do it. Most disappointing player thus far in the season. I know the chat is going to have a field day with this one. Leave your comments down below. Put it in the chat room. Who do you think is the most disappointing player thus far on the Ravens? Not to say that this player cannot turn things around for the rest of the
Right, right,
season in
right.
the playoffs, but just thus far, who do we have high hopes for who just is not performing at the highest level right now, Alex?
I think it's number 99, unfortunately. And
Talk
listen,
about it.
I am a huge fan. I see him getting the pressure. I see him getting there. I really do. I he literally it's like 0.2 seconds away from this conversation not happening at all, being
Yeah,
held. But unfortunately, okay, everybody's in agreement. This is like the one of the few times that we all agree. Uh,
I know.
the thing is, like, look how good that our pass rush is still doing without our number one overall pick. You know, from last year,
Yeah.
still, it's like if he turns it around, oh my goodness gracious, the pass rush can be even better. But yes, I think it is Odafe Owe. I really do, but that's not to say he can turn it around.
Yeah, not to say he can't turn it around. And like you said, I know that there have been plays, like you alluded to, plays that he's been held, but damn it, it has not been every play, you know. And I've only seen one sack through 10 weeks. I can't, I can't really do too much with that. So, yeah, I have to say Adafe Owe is probably my most disappointing player as well. But
I
at the same time, I see my guy Quoney in here
yeah,
brings up
yeah,
Bateman as well. And I
yes.
see O's fan brings it up too. And I didn't think about that until you guys
Neither did
just
I.
brought it up.
Neither did
But it
I.
makes sense though, because Bateman, he's a guy who he showed flashes. Here's a guy, right? Who showed flashes early on in the season, right? We're talking big plays, we're talking touchdowns, chain moving catches, things like that. But then we also saw a lot of drops. He was like top three in the league in drops, and his availability is not where it needs to be. So we had high hopes because I think that the one thing that the Ravens fans were kind of most excited about this season was like our receiving core. Rashad Bateman kind of coming into that wide receiver one role. He was the face of the wide receiving core coming into the season.
Yep.
So the fact
Yep.
that he's no longer available for the rest of the season and he's had those drops, I think that
Yeah.
he makes a strong case for most disappointing as well.
Yeah, and I think about the first 2 weeks, like, yeah, we did lose to the Dolphins, but I'm like, bro, this man just cooked Xavier Howard, 75-yard touchdown off of a slant, showed off that speed that I don't think we saw yet. That was when I was like, okay, Bateman is flying down the field. Try and catch him if you can. Try. But yeah, I think ironically that's 2021's two first round picks who are our most disappointing players so far.
Mm, yeah, yeah. The other one
Ouch.
being
Owe and
Adafe
Bateman.
Owe, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah,
I saw, yeah, I'm the only two I'm seeing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, and I see somebody in the chat here. Ravens block says Hollywood greater than Bateman. Are we regretting the Hollywood trade right now?
I am because them together would have been special. Both of them together. But things change. And listen, we do have a Tyler Linderbaum now, who I know we'll mention. I just know we'll mention him, but it's happened. Still rooting for both of them, but
Yeah,
things happen, unfortunately.
they do. They do. As unfortunate as it is, things do happen. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next superlative, the
Okay.
most underrated player
Yeah.
thus far in
Yeah.
the season. I'll let you go ahead and start.
Oh, I'm kind of. Uh, I feel like I've talked about him before being underrated. I think I might have to do it again. One of them, Lyman, Kevin Zeitler. I don't hear his name talked about at all.
Yeah,
He's been our most consistent performer on the line. Uh, I mean, I have been hearing about Ronnie Stanley because what he's come back from, but just having Zeitler there, nobody has had to question him at right guard at all. It's never been a question of is he going to perform because we know he was.
yeah.
So that's one of them. I do have somebody on the defense, but I'll let you give your next one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna agree with one of the people who just put in the chat earlier, uh, Ben Powers, man. I would say Ben
Yeah.
Powers because that left guard spot, that was one of the positions going into the season where we really didn't know. It was kind of like a battle
Yeah.
for who was going to have that starting position at the left guard spot going into the season between Powers, Cleveland, and I think they were kind of working on Tyree Phillips there too, if I'm not mistaken. But Ben Powers comes out of the fire as the number one legit like left guard on our team. And he really doesn't get talked about. He doesn't get talked about. He's not big country Ben Cleveland who was going viral for this and going viral for that. He's kind of
Eating
under the radar,
squirrels.
eating squirrels and whatnot, talking country at press conferences. You get it. Kevin Zeitler is another one of those guys. Right guard. Right guard. The guard position is just not a sexy position you
No.
know. So when you're talking about most underrated players, I think that you have to kind of look at those unsexy positions,
Yeah.
and guard is
Yeah.
one of those. So I think Ben Powers is definitely for me on offense. But what's yours on defense?
On defense, it's as people have been mentioning him. I was a huge fan of his last year. I was upset when we cut him 2 years ago.
Mm.
But because of the I word, he came and slotted in. I thought he's done a great job. The Chino Stone. Uh, he's given up a play or two, but I mean, for him getting actual starting game time, I thought he slotted in very well. So that I'm gonna give it to
Yeah.
Gino there. I see people bringing up somebody else, but do you have any other players?
No, I kind of want to get into what the Rain Gang is saying in
Okay.
here.
I like they
Yeah.
have some really good picks, I'm not gonna lie.
Which one do you want to bring up?
Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
we talked about it, and I'm feel higher than about him than you, but I have what Kenyon Drake has done. It's night and day. For me, last year we brought in Devonta Freeman and Latavius Murray. This year, I was questionable when we signed Kenyon Drake, but thankfully he's the guy that lets when Gus and JK aren't there. I thought he's done pretty good. He's hitting the holes, still has that burst, um, doing better than what we had last year. That's all we're really asking for. I think, 3 touchdowns? He had 2 touchdowns last game. That big run against the Giants. I like the attitude he brings to the team as well. Nasty runner. I can definitely see Kenyon Drake being one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're high on Drake than I am. I mean, going into the season, I thought that it would be a good idea to bring him in, which I still think that it was a good idea in hindsight to bring him in. But I kind of think he is, if J.K. Dobbins was healthy, if Gus Edwards was fully healthy, if Justice Hill was healthy all along, I don't really think that Kenyon Drake would be able to get in the rhythm that he's in right now,
Yeah, yeah,
and be producing the way that he is. So
yeah,
I can't really, give too much credit to him right now, but he is playing well. I mean, we give him a lot of work inside the red zone. So maybe they'll keep doing that, maybe they won't. But I want to see J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards back because I feel like those are the staples
yeah.
of this run game.
Yeah, I was thinking back to last year. I was like thinking, okay, there was games last year where we couldn't get a run going, and we lost some games. And I'm thinking like, if we had Devonta Freeman, no disrespect, he played his ass off for us.
Yeah,
Um, but Kenyon Drake is able to punch it in. I like seeing that from him, and it just really can't hurt to have a guy like him as the third running back, which great to see.
yeah, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next one. This one's gonna be the most exciting rookie. I was excited about
Okay,
this one for sure. Who's your most exciting rookie so far? Rain Gang, put yours in the live chat.
yeah,
Replay Gang, put it in the comment section.
I kind of want to say like it's another unsexy position being Linderbaum. But I think I'm excited because there hasn't been that many bad snaps. That's really got me excited. And what
Yeah,
really got me
yeah,
excited was seeing him take Devin White, a Super Bowl champion who played his best games in the playoffs in 2020, taking him, right? And just taking him on a ride of his lifetime, like a ride at Disney World, taking him and just putting him down the field 15 yards. Uh,
yeah.
that's for me Linderbaum, but I don't think there's really no wrong answers for this one.
You're right. I mean, Linderbaum has been really good. People coming into the season, people were kind of talking about like his size being a problem. He's not the tallest of guys, that sort of thing. He might get moved around. I mean, and every offensive lineman at some point they get moved around. It's just a battle of big boys. It's a push and pull type of game. Nobody dominates for 100% of 4 quarters. That just doesn't happen. But Linderbaum recently, he's been looking really, really good, getting up to that second level, which we've known he was good at since college, coming out of Iowa. Um, but I can agree with you there. But for me, it's gonna have to be Isaiah Likely. It's gonna have to be Isaiah Likely. I mean, we're talking 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. He looks like he's getting his confidence. He did have a couple. I mean, I think it was like a one drop that I kind of looked at him sideways for in this past game. The other one that he dropped, I think it was a bad throw. First one wasn't the greatest of throws either, but I really do like what I'm seeing from Isaiah Likely. Not only, um, just catching the football, but after the catch as well. He's one of the best tight ends in the league right now. I would say after the catch because he's not really a tight. He's more of a wide receiver. If you think about it, he reminds me more of like a Chase Claypool, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But just with that
Okay.
tight end position, that tight end labeling. So for me, the most exciting rookie is gonna be Isaiah Likely, man.
And can you bring up Don's comment because he threw a curveball here. I like what he did. He said the one we haven't seen yet, Ojabo. I like that.
Mm,
I like that, Don. You're thinking outside the box
yeah,
because like everybody, people, would be expecting these answers, but we don't know what we're getting, and it could be something that just fires this defense up even more. We really
yeah.
don't. So I do. I actually love that comment, Don. Shout out to you. I like that.
Can you imagine if after the bye week we get David Ojabo back, he comes out and gets just even one sack in his
Right.
first game? Like that, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Like that would be huge. Because Tyus Bowser, we know he's back. Justin Houston is playing as well as he is. Calais Campbell, Matabike, that whole defensive line will be a force to be reckoned with, man. If Ojabo really comes out and kind of proves that he should have been that top 10 pick,
Yeah.
with or without that, Achilles or whatever it was. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see David Ojabo for sure. All right, let's go ahead and move right along. Let me
Okay.
see. Jiro says sudden death, so you changed your mind about Likely. Yeah, man. I mean, I think a couple weeks ago I said Likely needs to grow up. He grew up. He started catching these
Yeah.
passes, getting into
Stepped
the
up.
end zone. So yeah, he stepped up for sure. Um, and then Ravens Fox to stop it. Likely ain't one of the best tight ends in the league. I never said he was the best tight end in the league. I will say that after the catch, he is better than a lot of your favorite tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
He's quicker, he's faster. So yeah, you can do with that what you will. Let's go on to the next superlative here,
Okay.
and this one was an idea of my guy Simply as 10 players that will help in the second half of the season or the playoffs. So, Alex, I'm going to start with you on this one, of course.
Okay.
Who are some players that you think will step up in the second half of the season, or players that you think we will need to step up in the second half and in the playoffs?
Okay. So I know how you talk about when it gets cold outside. You lean on the run
Yes.
game. All
Yep.
right. Gus.
The
Actually,
bus.
sorry. I know how I say Decalen Zacharias. Augustus Edwards. All right, Augustus. That's what
Mm.
I want to say. Grew the hair out. He grew the hair out, looking great with it. Just
I love it.
getting ready. Just getting ready. Uh, I think we saw what he did against the Bucks, and honestly, that one long run really helped us propel to score on that drive as well. Because I know that was the play where it kind of hurt, but it really gave a spark to a team that really had no offense that game. It felt like so. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to Gus, and obviously I see Marcus Williams. I see them. Yeah, he's gonna get his picks again. I think they said he's coming along pretty well, and probably will be back next month, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna go with people. I mean, also J.K. Dobbins as well, but Gus. I mean, averaging over 5 yards a carry. I just love him. Just love Gus.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think Gus, like you said, I mean, when it gets colder outside, the run game travels. It's portable. You can do it any time of the season, anywhere. So I definitely think Gus Edwards getting in a rhythm, maintaining that 5.5, almost 6 yards a carry, that is important. So I agree there. Marcus Williams, I definitely can agree as well. More so for the playoffs as opposed to the regular season, because the rest of
Yeah.
the regular season, the Ravens' schedule is pretty light. But in the playoffs, we're going to be just off the rip playing teams like, I don't know, the Dolphins, who torched us earlier, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. We're going to be playing teams like, maybe the Chiefs, because there's not going to be two teams with a bye week. There's only
No.
one team that gets the bye. So we could very well be playing like, Chiefs, Bills, whoever that falls out of that one seed. And these are teams that can put the pressure on your secondary, rather. So Marcus Williams, I think, is going to be very important to stop a lot of those deep balls. Him and Kyle Hamilton as well, Chuck Clark too. But yeah, let me see. Let me see what else you guys are saying in here. So Marcus Williams, yeah, Kyle
Yeah.
Hamilton. Let me
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
like
I
that.
agree
I like that.
for sure. Definitely agree with that. Roquan Smith, I think, is that's going to be another big one
Oh.
too. When it's cold outside,
Oh.
you never know. I mean,
That's
we could be
perfect.
facing the Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry. You know, we're gonna
Not
have to see
again.
Roquan Smith. We're gonna have to see Roquan Smith plug some of those holes like he was doing on the Saints. In this past Monday night game. We're gonna have to see him do that against Tennessee. You know, head up with Derrick Henry. And I got Roquan Smith, man. I like Roquan Smith a lot.
Ooh,
I'm just telling. I'm
ooh,
just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just
ooh,
saying. Head up. I
ooh.
mean, because Derrick Henry, as long as you don't let him get a full head of steam, you know, you can tackle him. Close to the line of scrimmage. That's the best time to
It's
tackle him. It's like when he's still getting going.
when he hits that first hole, get out of his way. Make way
Yeah,
for the king. That's where
yeah,
it gets scary.
yeah. As soon as he's like parallel with linebackers, it's bad. It's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
So, yeah. Tony Houston saying, I cannot wait for that matchup. Yeah, me neither, man. I want to play the Titans, man. I'm ready for another physical football game.
Here's
Just
here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Alex disagrees. Alex
I don't
disagrees.
want it to be in Baltimore because the weird thing with the Ravens and Titans that in the playoffs, the home team has lost every single time. And that makes zero sense. Like how? How?
I know.
Because I think we would be the home team, you know. Well, actually no, because if we were, it would probably be set second or maybe the conference because I think they're gonna win their division, so we would both have a home game. But who knows? Maybe we meet them in divisional again, but I'd be scared. Oof.
Robert T. Lewis with an interesting comment here says, I think Marcus Peters is going to lock in. So, I mean, we've seen Marcus Peters get beat a couple times, especially in that last game against the Saints.
Yeah,
Biggest reason is because he's not really that great at like press coverage. He's better, much more at, like kind of sitting back a little bit, letting the play kind of develop in front of him, and then kind of breaking and making his move on the play.
yep.
But what do you think about Marcus Peters right now, Alex?
I'm behind him. He's one of my favorite players from defense. I love what he brings. He even had that tackle for loss earlier in the game on Kamara and just setting the tone right there. You know what you get with him. He's gonna guess. I think Troy Aikman said it. He with that drop Marquez Callaway pass, he thought he was going inside instead he was going outside. Got beat. I mean that's Marcus Peters, but he does come up in the biggest moments. So I'm not gonna be too worried about it. But one thing looking ahead, we do need to get another cornerback. His best days are going to be behind him soon. Marlon's playing at a all-pro level. He's all-pro Marlowe again. I want to give him a shout out as well. He's been great. But yeah, I think Peters, he'll get us an interception. Like Don, he is a dog, but I think we do have to start thinking about defensive back in the future because can't have these guys forever.
Yeah, yeah. Agree there. I totally agree. Okay. So that wraps up our Ravens mid-season award / superlatives.
Do they have any? Does ranking have
Yeah.
any that we missed?
And you know what I was gonna say? If you do have any, make sure you save them for the question segment, which will be in just a couple minutes.
Okay,
In just
okay,
a couple
okay,
minutes, we're gonna go ahead and get into our picks for NFL
okay.
Week 10 first. One of my favorite parts, one of my favorite times of the week, just period, where we get to go ahead and talk about all these upcoming NFL games for the week. Alex, do you have the schedule pulled up?
I mean, of course. Let's do this. Let's freaking do this. All
All
right,
right, let's
tonight,
do it.
Thursday night football.
Okay.
Falcons, Panthers. It's the one you've been waiting for. PJ Walker, Marcus Mariota, 4-5, 2-7. Who do you got?
Wait, is PJ or Baker starting?
PJ is starting. PJ is the starter.
Oh, I might have to watch that one because I mean I'm interested to see PJ Walker. I've been following him since his XFL days when he was dominating for the
Love
Houston
the
Roughnecks.
XFL. Loved
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
was a big DC Defenders guy with Cardale
yeah.
Jones.
I like the DC defenders as well, but I was really just following it for PJ Walker and Garrett Gilbert as well. I don't know what he's doing right now,
Yeah.
but PJ Walker versus Marcus Mariota tonight. It's kind of hard to decide, but I'm gonna go with the Falcons in this one.
Okay. Okay.
I just think that the Panthers they just don't have any sort of like vertical offense right now. I think that the Falcons have it just a little bit more. They really don't have too much of it either. But give me the Falcons in this one. I think it'll be close. It can go either way, but if my gut's telling me the Falcons, so I'm going with Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Panthers here. I think they're a little disgruntled from the loss they had like 2 weeks ago. But touching
Right.
back on the XFL, how you mentioned Garrett Gilbert, PJ Walker, Taylor Heineke, I think the XFL like was perfect. I think I'm happy it's coming back because guys are actually getting their chance. Even the USFL, a couple of guys got a chance and they're on the NFL roster. I thought their kickoff of the XFL, the way how there was no running head start, I love that. I think that kickoff is one of the scariest things for a collision because you're running full steam and another guy's running full steam. That's how you get concussions.
Yeah,
So I am looking forward to the XFL coming back because we'll see even more talent. And then we have Heineke who's the starter now, and PJ Walker is a starter. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. But
yeah,
moving on to a game in Germany, in Munich, Germany,
yeah.
Seahawks, Buccaneers. I'm looking forward to this one actually. Who do you got?
Oh man, Seahawks and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are coming off of a emotional comeback win against the Rams, which was huge. Last minute drive from Tom Brady and company. I am going to go with the Kenneth Walker looked really good for the Seahawks too, and Geno Smith's been looking. He's been balling out.
Yeah.
This is a tough one, dude. This is a tough one. Give me the Bucks though. Give
Okay.
me the Bucks in a close one. I think that this is the game where we start to see Geno Smith kind of come down to earth, couple picks. And I think the Bucks kind of run away with it. Tom Brady and company, they capitalize on that. Give me the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I need to see Leonard Fournette get going. That run game has to get going, which will open up the pass game. Because when you're
Yeah.
sitting back, you know Tom's not going to run it. They can cover the receivers. But yeah, give me the Bucks in that one. This one's pretty interesting though. The new look Bears with Justin Fields playing amazing, and the Lions off of a big win on the Packers last week. Who do you have?
Lions and Bears. Oh man, you're right. Because the Bears, everybody this week has been the praise Justin Fields week in the national media because he played well the past couple of weeks. Despite the loss last week, people are really high on him, think that he's the next big thing in the NFL. The Lions coming off of a big emotional win against the Packers. Every win that the Lions get is super emotional. With Dan Campbell at the helm, how could you not? But man, it's a tough one. But give me the Lions. I think we picked the Lions last week to beat the Packers,
Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah, and we're gonna pick him again this week.
We're gonna pick them
Yeah,
again. Let's
we're
do
gonna
it.
pick
Let's
him
do it.
again.
Give
Listen,
me the
Dan
Lions,
Campbell.
man.
Only Dan Campbell can be that fired up. I feel like I'm a part of Detroit when I watch them. Their secondary was playing amazing last week. Oh my goodness, they had Aaron Rodgers in hell. Aaron Rodgers threw 2 picks in the red zone. Almost threw
Right?
3. No, I think he did.
Shout
He threw
out,
3. They were all in the red zone. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 in there.
shout out to our guy Deshaun Elliott, who's on that Lions secondary.
He did have a play to forget in that game. He did have a play to forget, but yeah.
Did he really? Ooh,
Yeah, it was a fumble and like he went for it and it went out of bounds and it was still the Packers ball and they scored the next play. But
oof.
yeah. Uh, that wasn't the best. Moving on to the Browns and the Dolphins. Uh, when I watch the Dolphins, I'm not really wowed by their defense. I saw Bradley Chubb get shaken off by Justin Fields last week, and I'm like, oh. But it's his first game with them. But my worry with the Dolphins that come playoff time, if their offense slows down, when the defense hold up, kind of how I feel about the Ravens.
Hmm.
I want to see more from their defense, but I do think they win this game against the Browns. Give me the Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins too. I mean, Tyreek Hill is just having a year, to say the least. Tua and Tyreek have been the connection that they advertised them to be in the offseason. And I like
Yep.
that a lot for them. Give me the Dolphins in this one.
Yes. Moving on to a weird game, I think it's the Broncos and the Titans. Is it Willis? Is it Tannehill? We know
Hmm.
it's gonna be Russell Wilson for the Broncos. Give me the Broncos. I think they're gonna have some good mojo off the bye week. I got that win in London last. It's kind of good spirits there. Titans come off of a kind of a heartbreaker where I kind of felt they were robbed. I felt they were robbed against the Chiefs. But give me the Broncos.
You know what? Give me the Titans in this one. The Broncos have just been barely getting by, if you ask me.
Yeah.
They really haven't proven that they have like burst onto the scene as like this team who's going to be contenders, honestly. But the Titans, on the other hand, I like what they're doing on defense. They weren't able to hold down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs last week, but hey, who can? And then also Derrick Henry, what he's doing as well. I mean, I think 5 straight games over 100 yards rushing. When your running back has over 100 yards rushing, I think when Derrick Henry has over 100 yards, the Titans are pretty much unbeatable. You know, they have a really
Yeah.
high win loss rate. So give me the Titans in this one.
Yeah, but when he runs for 41, they lose.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, which would have been the game of the week, could still be the game of the week, but it's not looking good for Josh Allen. The Vikings and the Bills. This is pretty interesting because if Josh Allen can't go, Case Keenum goes. The same Case Keenum who took the Vikings to the NFC Championship, I believe, in 2018. No,
Okay.
2017. Yeah, I think if Josh Allen plays, I would pick the Bills, but if he doesn't, I can see the Vikings winning this game. I really can.
Give me the Bills in this one, regardless of who starts at quarterback. Um, I think that the Bills defense will be able to thwart whatever offensive game plan that the Vikings have coming in.
Mhm.
And I think they'll be able to manage the game. Case Keenum, if anything, he'll be able to manage the football game. Um, it'll be probably lower scoring than we think. I'm thinking like maybe right around 20 points per team.
Okay.
But yeah, give me the Bills in this one.
Gotcha. And then one next one's the Texans and the Giants. Not going to spend too much time on this. I like the Giants in this one.
Yeah, give me the Giants. Give me the Giants over the Texans.
Another interesting one: Jaguars and Chiefs. I think this one could be pretty high scoring. Does the way both of the teams play, but I'm not going to go against the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, I'm predicting a Chiefs blowout in this one. I mean, I really like what I'm seeing
Ooh.
from like Travis
Okay.
Etienne Jr. I love him. But Trevor Lawrence, I'm still not all the way sold on him being like a generational
Gotcha.
talent, to be honest
I
with you.
gotcha.
So yeah, I'll take the yeah, I'm not taking the Jags in this one. I can't.
And then moving on to another game where you're going to keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Saints and Steelers. The Saints we just beat against our good old buddy, old pal Steelers in Heinz Field. Uh, this is kind of a weird one because we know Andy Dalton knows the Steelers, but Andy Dalton looked like shit against us. The Steelers
Yeah.
getting back TJ Watt. I I
Oh, is
can
he coming
definitely
back
see.
this week?
Yeah, I can see the Saints winning this game, but I feel like with TJ Watt back at Heinz Field, I feel like if the Steelers want to just save their season, they gotta win this game. Mike Tomlin, I need to see you show up this game, and if so, I think the Steelers will win.
Man, give me the Steelers too. I got to take the Steelers. Like you said, I mean, the Steelers haven't been looking very good, but excuse me, my bad.
Bless you. Goodness, first time that's
Thank
ever
you.
happened, I think.
I know that's the first time that's ever happened online. But yeah, give me the Steelers in this one. TJ Watt being back, especially in that field, not Heinz Field, but what is it,
Oh,
Acrisure?
let ah, I feel bad for Pittsburgh fans. Like you've, it's like not calling the bank the bank. You know, it has to say the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine if they changed the name of M&T Bank Stadium to something else, but yeah, give me the Steelers.
gotcha. Next one I think is pretty interesting. The Colts and the Raiders. Jeff Saturday, the new Colts head coach, which is kind of weird thinking about it now. It's like
Mm,
I'm kind of getting old, the fact that he's a coach. But neither here nor there. Last week he tweeted out how the Raiders look really bad before he was their coach. Definitely some bulletin board material. I feel like the Raiders win this game. I just don't know what the Colts are gonna look like, but I think it's gonna be a close one. Josh McDaniels, I'm looking at you. You're 2-6 now. You just lost Waller, just lost Renfro. What are you gonna do? You got this shiny new toy in Devontae Adams, and you got him going against the Jags, but you blew it. I need to
yeah,
see something from the Raiders, but I think they do pull this off. Spoil Jeff Saturday's return. Give me the Raiders by a field goal.
Raiders by field goal. I think that's not a bad pick. I am going to this game is kind of a toss up for me because you said Josh
Mhm.
McDaniels and the Raiders, they have looked like ass this season, like complete ass. The Colts, I feel like, new head coach coming in, kind of like a new regime sort of thing. I feel like they're going to try to turn things around in this game. Give me the Colts,
Okay.
in a close one. I think this will be where we differ this week. Give me the Colts.
Cool. Another one where the quarterback is kind of in question. The Rams and Cardinals. Matt Stafford is in concussion protocol. I think his backup is John Wolford, I believe, from a couple years ago.
Mm,
So, divisional matchup. Neither team's looking too good. Rams or Cardinals, that is. I thought the Rams were really going to win it last week, but they didn't. I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals, and I really wouldn't usually do this, but I just don't trust Wolford at quarterback. But maybe if he spreads the targets and not just to Cooper Cup 50 million times like Stafford does, maybe the Rams have a chance. But I just need to see more from the Rams defense. I want to see more from Bobby Wagner. I want to see a Jalen Ramsey pick because if that happens, I'll win it. But I don't think it will. Give me the Cardinals in this one.
yeah, give me the Cardinals too. I think this game is going to come down to which quarterback do I trust more on third down, and for me, that's going to be Kyler Murray over John Wolford. So yeah, give me the Cardinals.
Cool. This game is like their typical Fox NFC game, Cowboys Packers. I mean, it's so typical.
Yeah.
And it's in Lambeau. Might as well pull out Des Bryant for the was it a catch, no catch.
Was it America's
I
game of the week?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So Greg Olsen and Burkhardt will be there. I give me the Cowboys though. I think the Packers are in absolute ruins, shambles this year. I think they'll lose
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. I think I said last week, I thought that the Lions would beat the Packers and then the Packers would really start to unravel. That happened. And, I think that they're going to continue to unravel. So, yeah. Packers lose. I got the Cowboys.
You want to talk about unraveling? I heard that their young wide receivers are like pissed off with Aaron Rodgers because he was blaming them in training camp. Is it them or is it you, Aaron? Who is it? Yeah,
He's not playing well. Aaron's not playing well. I mean, the receivers aren't necessarily doing him a whole lot of favors. I'll say that. But I mean, Aaron, you're the vet. Like Tom Brady was doing this with nobodies. Lamar Jackson won
yep,
an MVP with nobodies at wide receiver. What's your excuse? Because
yep.
you're a back-to-back two-time MVP. What's your excuse? You know?
That's what happens when you take up the whole salary cap with that big contract, Aaron. I mean, come on
Yeah,
now.
I
Gotta
guess
learn
that's
how
the
to win.
excuse.
Yeah,
Jesus.
of course. And Devontae Adams too. Like they both kind of lost in this situation. They got the bag though, but not playing winning football. So maybe they won with the money. Our Sunday night game though, nice little California, the Chargers and 49ers, which I think
Mm,
is this is actually kind of an interesting Sunday night game. Uh,
yeah,
Chargers, I want to see more from Herbert. Haven't seen a lot from him this year, but I just something about the Niners like has a nice little spot in my heart. Give me the Niners since they are at home on prime time. I like them.
yeah. I'm taking the 49ers in this one too. I think it's going to be a close game, maybe overtime, to be honest. But
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
give me the 49ers though.
And then the final game of the week, good old NFC East special in Lincoln Financial. Commanders led by Taylor Heineke against the Jalen Hurts, 8-0 Eagles. I
Yeah.
think the Eagles go 9-0.
This is a tough one, only because number one, it is a divisional matchup. Number two, the Eagles did kind of like embarrass the Commanders earlier this season, and I think the Commanders are a better team now than they were in what week three? I want to say
Yeah.
it was. It was the same week that we played the Patriots. I think that was week three.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that they're a different team now. They're a better team. Taylor Heineke gives this team some juice, some spark. But mm, what? Give me the Commanders. Give me the
Okay.
Commanders in this one, man.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, screw it.
Okay.
Give me the Commanders. I like the Commanders. I think they're gonna pull out a close one.
I like that. I hope Chase Young is back this week. I don't think he is though. If Chase Young was playing, I might lean more towards the Commanders. But there it is. Your week 10.
Upset special.
Yeah. Tony, yeah. Us. I mean, I'm rooting for the Commanders in that one though, especially with like all the stuff going on with them. I feel bad for like their players because they just
That
have a
too.
whack
Yeah.
job for an owner, man. What a
Lots of
freaking joke.
distractions. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. But there you have it. Yeah. I guess one of the questions now.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into our question segment of this episode 143 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the
Yes.
channel as well if you are
You already have a
new.
question. You already have a question
Oh
already.
yeah, looks like we do. OTC Tutu Gang, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you for coming through. Says, hey Sutton Duff, are you ready for UFC 281? I'm kind of scared for my man's Izzy and where you're from. Where am I from? I'm actually from Southern Maryland. Southern Maryland, probably about an hour and some change away from Baltimore. But yeah, let me see. Am I ready for 281? Yes, I am. I put out a video a couple days ago about why I think that Izzy is actually going to lose. I think Alex Perez is going to beat Izzy in that fight. Alex beat him before twice. I think it's going to be no different this
Ah,
time. Even though he's been doing really well in the UFC, I will say that. But yeah, I got Alex, and then I have Dustin Poirier beating Michael Chandler as well, which I think will be a crazy fight. Make sure you tune into that one. That's probably the people's main event, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm ready for it for sure. Thank you for your comment, bro.
yeah, I'm scared for Izzy. I want Izzy to win. But just seeing that picture of him knocked out, oh my goodness gracious. I can definitely see him losing. I really can.
Yeah,
Seeing
for
him just
sure.
laying on the ground.
It was
Keep it,
yeah.
yeah.
Cupid the God says is Justin Houston the best edge in the league.
Miles
No,
Garrett. TJ
Miles
Watt.
Garrett. I mean, Judon is performing too.
Yeah, Judon and
Lead the
Zadarius
league.
Smith. Like the
Yeah,
Judon, Zadarius Smith, and Justin Houston lead the league in sacks. And
yeah.
you know who isn't their defensive coordinator?
It's so
Wink
ironic.
Martindale. You tell me what
Oh
that
my
means.
God. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but listen, 5 games, 8.5 sacks. You really can't argue with
Right.
that too much. I really do like what I'm seeing from him. I'm sure he has more interceptions than a lot of those guys who are leading in sacks too. So,
Yeah.
just saying, just saying. So, I mean, it's definitely possible. He's playing out of his mind right now. But we'll continue to see how he does in the future, though. Let's see what other questions you guys have. I got Chike says Sutton Def and Alex. Do you think that the Bills need home field advantage in order to make the Super Bowl? Because with Josh Allen missing time, they could forfeit the 1 seed and have to go to Kansas City.
I don't think they need it per se because we saw them go to KC last year and it came down to sudden death, basically overtime. Oh, not even.
Yeah,
It came down. Yeah, it came down to overtime. The Chiefs got the ball first. The Bills didn't get it at all. But if they don't have Josh Allen, then yeah, they need it. But if they have him, I think they can go in anywhere and win.
yeah.
So
I agree there. I definitely agree there. I think that their style of play it travels for sure.
yeah,
As long as Josh Allen is playing well, is making the right decisions, then yeah,
yeah,
they'll be good.
yeah.
All right. Jabbar saying, speak on it simply. Yeah, simply be
Drop the
he be spitting.
questions. Drop them.
Drop the questions. Yeah.
It is.
Tony
It is
Easton
the
says,
questions.
how much is Lamar Jackson worth now?
Blank check.
Can you really say blank check though? Because it's not like he's been absolutely balling out of control. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. That is true. I guess as in blank check, it's like I still think 45 to 50 million a year is what he's worth. I
You
said
know,
before the season 40 to 50, 40 to 45, but now it's 45 to 50.
I'll say this. I think that he's still. I mean, and I guess we're kind of saying the same things here, but I think that 230 million is still the starting point.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I think that's still the starting. It hasn't dipped below what Deshaun Watson made. It hasn't dipped below that at all.
Yeah.
So, um,
It's
yeah, we're
just
still
the
kind of
fully
neutral.
guaranteed thing
The
is,
fully guaranteed money, that's another thing as well.
bro,
All
like,
right.
fuck the Browns. The Browns are such a useless organization. So
Yes.
useless.
We'll take a couple more here. The Don says we have an easy schedule for the rest of the way. If we get complacent, I'm worried come playoffs and potentially having a first round bye will not be peaking.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier in the show. That's how I feel. How we were just balling, sat the starters against the Steelers. Bye week, we know what happens afterwards. Not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I definitely would like us, to keep winning. I wouldn't prefer the bye week. I would prefer us to keep playing the games. But that's just me. I do understand why the bye week would help us, but
I understand that. I understand that. Let me see. Robert T. Lewis says Sutton, Def, and Alex. Do you think with the Bills, Chiefs still having tough games ahead, can we get the number 1 seed?
I think we can. I really think we can.
Yeah, I mean, real quick before we get out of here, this will be the last thing. Could you pull up the remaining schedule for the Bills?
Of course, I will be happy to.
Yeah, I want to
So,
see who they've got.
yeah, their schedule: Vikings,
Mm,
Browns.
mm,
Uh, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, Vikings, Browns, Lions,
mm,
Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Bears, Bengals, Patriots. I
mm.
mean,
Yeah,
if
I mean
they,
theirs isn't too bad either. You know.
yeah, I mean, if they have Josh Allen, I think they can win out all of them. But the games that give them trouble without him would be the Vikings. I think they can beat every other team. Maybe the Dolphins will give them the hardest out of all of them. I think.
Yeah, Vikings and Dolphins are literally the only two ones that stand in the way, and they play the Vikings this week. Without Josh Allen, so we'll see how that goes. What about the Chiefs? Though? Can we look that up real quick?
Yeah. I got you. They probably have a couple of divisional games. So the Chiefs this week obviously play the Jags, Chargers, Rams, Bengals, Broncos, Texans, Seahawks, Broncos, Raiders. They have a bit of a harder one. I
I'm about
go.
to say a
They
little tougher. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am a fan for that when they play. The Bengals. Yeah, because they don't play the Browns. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, that would get then when they play the Bengals, it's kind of a win-win for us, depending what the Bengals record is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, We'll see about that. I mean, I think we have the easiest schedule out of all those teams, to
We
be
do.
honest with you.
We do.
So as long as we can do what we need to do and we can, win out, maybe, I don't know, drop a game or two. I don't know. I don't know. But if we can lose minimal games, I think that we have a really solid chance at getting that number one seed. I really do.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Just like you said. But yeah.
It's
All right.
crazy. We haven't won a home playoff game since 2012. So
Mm,
let's flip that mojo because if you want to win a Super Bowl, I think we're going to win the division. So we're going to have a home playoff game. Got to win
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Division is definitely ours to lose right now. That's for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Ravens, keep doing what you're doing for sure.
Especially with Jamar Chase out. Who knows with the Bengals? I mean, they got a good win over the Panthers. They blew out the Panthers, but Panthers.
Panthers gonna Panther. We know that. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it there for this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 143, our longest episode in a minute, hour and 20
It's been
minutes.
hour 20.
Woo. Yeah, I mean, we had to make up for no live stream on Monday, so we had some extra things to cover. It is what it is, but we appreciate all of you guys for coming through. We love you guys, the Rain Gang. We are a big family here, a big happy family. We thank all of you guys for coming through each and every time. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well before you get out of here. We'd appreciate that. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, just like you see down below. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. It's spelled out down there too. And you can see this guy over here. You can follow him on Twitter at Simply as 10. You can follow him on Instagram at Simply as 10.prod. Most importantly, go on YouTube, subscribe to Simply as 10 on YouTube as well. And then last but certainly not least, our sponsor, we have to give a shout out to Manscaped. Guys, holiday season is right around the corner. I mean, Black Friday is in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So make sure you go on manscaped.com. Use the code PRP to save 20% off your Manscaped order. You also get free shipping as well. You want to get your brother, your father, your uncle, your cousin, your friend,
Anybody.
your boyfriend, your husband, anybody
Friend probably
of the
definitely
male species.
Yeah, the friend probably needs it. I'll be honest with you. They could probably use it the most.
Yeah, they could probably use it the most. And make sure when you order them something, you use our code PRP to get 20% off plus free shipping.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys.
To you.
Yeah, it's our little gift, our little Christmas gift.
Hey,
but
it's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I should tell everybody.
Exactly.
Tell everybody. Tell everyone. I'm sorry. Tell everybody. Tell them all. Scream it from the rafters.
Sports Gaming YouTube says, good night, y'all. Great stream. Thank you, bro. The Don says, man, great stream, guys. Thank you so much. Tony Houston says, you guys are always fire. Thank you, Tony. We appreciate that. Dre, we appreciate you too. With that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
And as always, I hope everybody has a great weekend. No Ravens football. Sit back, relax, kick up your feet, make some nachos, get out some cola for the family, and just enjoy some football. But we will see you next week with some more news, with sports news. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
Yeah, and never, ever forget to call God. This has been episode 143 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch y'all in the next